This conference will now be recorded.
Hello everyone, good evening. I've started sharing my screen. Can one of you please confirm if my screen share is visible and I'm audible? Mm. Okay, thank you for the acknowledgement. So welcome to our day one of the training program, which is API automation testing using Postman tool. Like I said, the entire course curriculum is also kept on our website. I will give you the link on the chat. You can copy it. It's also available on the WhatsApp. So we'll start off with chapter one today. So chapter one is where we are going to talk about introduction towards the API basics. We will also talk about client and server architecture, and we'll also talk about three-tier architecture model. These are the contents we have in chapter one. This chapter is going to give us complete foundation portion for the API testing. So let's first talk about what exactly is an API, right? I think that's something that's very important for us to know what exactly is an API. So I will give you the definition and I'll give you different examples to justify the definition as well. So that way you'll be able to understand the definition in a very perfect way. So by the way, API stands for application programming interface. That is the abbreviation or the full form for API. Now coming to what exactly is an API. Yeah, may I request you guys to go on mute? Maybe Raji, you can go on mute. Yeah, thank you. Okay. So let me not give you immediately the technical definition. Rather, I'll give you some uh, regular examples to understand the meaning of an API. If you talk about this training program that I'm doing by sitting on this side of the city and you guys are on other sides of the city, right? So there are two actors involved. One is actor one called as trainer. Let's call him as Kiran trainer. On the other side, I have another actor. Let's call it as actor two, which is nothing but all the participants who joined the training. Right now, between actor one and actor two, there is a conversation happening, and the conversation is like I'm speaking out, I'm sharing my screen, and you guys are listening to it. So that is the data we are exchanging, right? So let's say both the actors are exchanging data, right? We are exchanging data, like I'm speaking something, I'm sharing something, which is obviously nothing but some information, and we call that information as data. But how am I able to share my data with you? The answer is using this software called GoToMeeting software, right? You see on the address bar, GoToMeeting software I'm using. So both the actors are exchanging information using a software called as GoToMeeting, right? So without this software GoToMeeting, I cannot share my screen, I cannot speak, you cannot join, I cannot join. So this software is very important for us. In this example, it is GoToMeeting. It can be Microsoft Teams as well. It can be Zoom meeting. It can be anything. Right now, we are using GoToMeeting. So what is this GoToMeeting software called as? So that GoToMeeting software is nothing but your API, technically speaking. Okay? So this GoToMeeting software is acting as an interface between two actors to communicate with each other. So that's called as an API. Now, if I take this example, actor one is Kiran, and the job of Kiran is to teach you API automation testing. So I'm creating the content for you, meaning I'm producing the content. So actor one is called as producer here. These are the technical terminologies you will listen in APIs. Actor two is all the participants who joined this meeting and you're all listening to me. You're probably writing some rough notes as well. So who are you? The consumers, right? You are consuming the information which I'm giving. So what is an API? Now, if I talk little technically, an API acts as an intermediary between producer and consumer. Right? That API is nothing but here GoToMeeting software. Producer is Kiran, consumer is all the participants. Now, if you further take this definition, I can say an API acts as a mediator or as a coordinator between the producer and the consumer. Like Isha team is also an API here because they spoke to you guys somehow and they brought you to join this demonstration class or the class one, and I'm on the other side, right? Now, if you go little bit technical about APIs, now I'll write the actual definition. So this is also one of the important definitions for an API only. Now, if I take one more definition, an API is an interface developed to enable data transfer or data communication across multiple modules in an enterprise application. This is the actual definition of an API. Whatever I'm highlighting now in some green color, that is the actual definition. And whatever I wrote in blue color, it is also a definition. Okay. Now, let's try to decode this definition. To decode it, let me take one more example. Let's pick an example like Amazon.in. So I will say this is the Amazon application that I'm taking up. And let's say the user is accessing Amazon.in. Okay. So this is the application we accessed on the browser. And when you access this application on the browser, there are so many modules present in Amazon. For the demonstration purpose, reference purpose, I will pick 4 modules. And let's also name the modules. Let's say this is the login module. And this is the logout module. And this is add items to shopping cart module. And let's say this is make a payment module. So these are the 4 modules present in Amazon.in. Of course, there are so many modules, but we will say that we are interested in these 4 modules. Now, what we are going to talk about is the dependency matrix. Okay, I call it as dependency matrix. So probably you guys have to start answering few questions. So I want you to talk about the dependency matrix here. Can you guys tell me if login and logout are dependent on each other or independent of each other? Login and logout modules, are they dependent or are they independent? Can any one of you comment on that? Dependent. Fantastic. Now, if maybe few other people wanted to know why they are dependent. Simple. I cannot log out if I'm not logged in. Meaning, login is a prerequisite for a logout, which means login and logout are dependent on each other. Good. So that we wrote it. Second one, I want you to comment on login and add items to shopping cart. Are they independent or dependent? And let's take only Amazon as an example. I don't want to take the entire e-commerce domain. Can we add items to shopping cart if I'm not logged in? You can try it on your browser in Amazon.in website without login or with login. Now I need the answer. Are they independent or dependent?
Dependent.
Sorry, dependent or independent?
Dependent.
Dependent, which means you are saying that if you don't log in, you cannot add items to shopping cart. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, okay, fine. Thank you for the answer. But let's see whether you are correct or not. So I'm browsing Amazon.in. Now tell me, am I logged in right now on my computer?
No, I think yes, it is independent because we can add to the cart and then we can log in and purchase, isn't it?
Correct. So right now, let's say, I'm just picking some random items. Right now, you say I'm still not signed in. And maybe I wanted to purchase this saree for my wife. So I'll click on add to cart. And yes, you see it says added to shopping cart. and still I'm not signed in. And you see my cart item shows one item, right? So the answer is they are independent. You agree, right? They are independent.
Yes.
So let's put it in the brackets. They are independent. Okay, and we are specific to Amazon application. Okay, because we need to discuss certain points. Third point. How about login module and make a payment module? Are they dependent or independent? Which means, can I make a payment if I'm not logged in, or can I make a payment only if I'm logged in?
I think it's
They are
dependent.
dependent.
Okay, two people said a dependent,
Yes,
and
dependent.
that's correct. Third person also said dependent, and the answer is dependent. Without login, you cannot make a payment. Okay, fantastic. The fourth point, make a payment module and add items to shopping cart. Are they dependent or independent? Which means, can I make a payment if items in the shopping cart is empty, or should I have minimum one item in the shopping cart to make a payment? So what do you say, dependent or independent?
It's independent. I think there is an option for buy now directly. You don't need to add to the items to the shopping cart. I'm not sure. Usually there is
But
an option buy now, isn't it?
correct. But when you say buy now, the item is automatically added to shopping cart. Is that correct?
Okay.
Which
Yeah,
means
yeah.
what will be the answer? Dependent or independent?
Dependent.
Dependent. Correct. Like even if you take a physical shop nearby your home, for you to make some payment, you need to buy a product, right? I mean, you need to have an item to the counter at least. Meaning,
Yeah.
add items to shopping cart. Minimum one item should be there, because we are not paying money for charity to Amazon or to
Mhm.
the real shopkeeper, right? We are not
Yeah.
as rich as Amazon Jeff Bezos. So we need to buy something only when we buy something. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So now this is called as a dependency matrix. Please remember the words that I'm using, because they are the real terminologies used in the actual projects. In real-time projects across the organizations, during the interviews, they talk about these terminologies. Now that you help me understand the dependency matrix, and that's about the dependency matrix, and I'm pretty much happy with the answers. But now let me put this in some color. Okay, now why did we talk about a dependency matrix? I'm going to come there. So I'll pick one of your names. Okay, maybe I'll say Devaki. Okay, so Devaki went to amazon.in on her computer. She opened the browser, she typed amazon.in, and let's say she logged in also, and she clicked on logout button. Right now, when she clicks on logout, what happens? Obviously she will be logged out. Very childish question, childish answer. You click on logout, you will be logged out. You click on login, you will be logged in if the username password is correct. But before Devaki is logged out, what happens is, look at this, login and logout are dependent. So when Devaki clicks on logout button, this logout button is sending a request to the login module, and there is a question going in the request: is Devaki logged in? Because she sent out a request that she wanted to log out. Right? Logout module should know whether Devaki is still logged in or not. Because logout module does not know for how long she was logged in, or was she actually logged in. Her session ID, is it still valid or not valid? Logout module does not know. So it will send a request to login module, and English language request is Devaki logged in? And what does the login module says? Okay, so let me cross check with my database. So login module says, okay, I think I have to go to the database and cross check whether she is logged in or not. And after that, she gets a response. Meaning login module gets some response from the database, and it will give back an answer to the logout module. And that we call it as response. Right? So the response will be something like, yes, she is logged in. Some answer you will get, whether it could be no, she is not logged in, yes, she is logged in, her session is valid, something, and then she will be logged out. So here if you see in the diagram, logout and login module are talking to each other and they are exchanging data. Exchanging data is nothing but sending a request, receiving a response. And if you see my document, I also use the word data transfer, data communication. So data transfer and data communication is nothing but sending a request and receiving a response. Okay. And you see across multiple modules, which are the two modules that we are talking right now in this example, login and logout. Similarly, maybe I'll pick someone else's name now. Maybe I'll say Satyakrishna. So what Satyakrishna does is he is logged in and he will click on make a payment. When he clicks on make a payment module will send a request to the login module. And what does the request will be? Is Satyakrishna logged in? So I'll just say request. And again, login module will check the database and it will give a response. And the response will be no, Satyakrishna is not yet logged in, or maybe yes, he is logged in. So there is some response coming here. Again, you see the two modules, login and make a payment, which are dependent modules according to dependency matrix. They are exchanging data transfer. You see, we are talking about enable data transfer, data communication, sending request and response across multiple modules. That is what is happening between make a payment and login. Let us say that login module said, yes, Satyakrishna is very much logged in. Fantastic. After that, make a payment is also dependent on add items to shopping cart. So it will send one more request to add items to shopping cart and says, uh, does Satyakrishna has any items in the shopping cart? What does this add items to shopping cart says? Okay, let me check my internal microservices or database and get an answer. And after some time, it will give a response. Sometime means after a few milliseconds. It will give back a response. The response could be he has 0 items in the shopping cart, or he has like 1 item or 2 items in the shopping cart. But again, you see request and response is happening between make a payment and add items to shopping cart, which is nothing but we are enabling the data transfer across these modules by sending the data, receiving the data. The question is, how are these modules talking to each other? Like, how is Kiran able to talk to each other? Am I shouting loud from my room and you are just on the balconies and listening to it? No, we have technology in place. That technology is this GoToMeeting. You logged into GoToMeeting. I am logged into GoToMeeting, and that GoToMeeting software has the technology to transfer my voice to you, your voice to me, my screen share to you, your screen share to me. So even without GoToMeeting, our this class is useless. I mean, this class cannot happen without GoToMeeting software or Microsoft Teams or Zoom meeting, whatever. Similarly, these dependent modules, right now we are also dependent, right? Like all you people are dependent on knowledge on Kiran, and I'm also dependent equally on you to make business, right? Because we are not here for charity. I'm sharing my real-time knowledge with you, so you will grow in your career, and you are giving a return gift to me by paying the course fee. So it's all business deal, right? But it's a win-win situation for both of us. Similarly, why are the modules communicating with each other? Because there is a purpose in their life. For them to work, they have to talk to other modules. Human beings, they cannot survive without talking to someone, right? I mean, you will die in isolation if you don't speak to anyone. Similarly, modules are also useless if they don't talk to other modules, because they're all dependent modules according to dependency matrix. Like human beings are also dependent. I'm dependent on my wife is dependent on me, my kids are dependent on us. Maybe after 10 years I will depend on them. It's all about dependency only. For the dependency, what do we do to enable the dependency or to solve the dependency? We communicate. Like if I stop speaking to my wife, I won't get my dinner. If she stops talking to me, she won't get money for her shopping. So everything is interlinked. So these modules are also dependent to make the software work. Otherwise Satyakrishna can never buy a product, or Kiran can never make a payment, or Kiran can never log out. Question is, if they are dependent and if they are sending a request and receiving a response, how are they able to send a request? How are they able to send a response? They don't have a GoToMeeting software. So they have some other technology, and that some other technology is nothing but the reason why you enrolled in this course. API is a technology that is helping these modules to talk to each other. Now you look at the definition I wrote. An API is an interface that is developed to enable the data transfer by sending a request and response. So this data transfer is happening not between human beings, it is happening between different modules. And where are these modules present? Inside a software, and inside a software is nothing but in an enterprise application. Now you guys tell me honestly, is this definition, which is a kind of bookish definition, is it difficult to remember? Is it difficult to understand, or is it is easy now for you guys? What would you say? Is that clear? The green color definition now very much clear, or you still have a question in your mind? One of you should unmute and tell me we are dependent.
Yeah, it's clear, sir.
Okay. There is one more definition I give you, which is nothing but API also acts as an intermediary between producer and consumer. So in this application, who is the producer? Who is the consumer? I should also justify that because I gave the definition. Simple. Who is sending the request when login module and make a payment are talking to each other? Make a payment is sending a request. So the guy who is asking is what? Consumer or producer?
Producer.
Consume.
Producer.
No. You are asking something. You are not producing content. You are receiving content from the login, right? What is make a
Yeah.
payment saying? Am I logged in? And login module is checking the database and giving you a response that okay, your biryani is ready, your pizza is ready. It is giving you a response. So content is produced by login module. So login is the producer here, and the information is coming to make a payment. That guy is the consumer. Similarly, between login and logout module, logout is sending a request, so it is the consumer. Similarly, between make a payment and add items to shopping cart, add items to shopping cart is saying that yes, there are 3 items in the shopping cart, or no, 0 items in the shopping cart. So it is the producer. Between you and me, I am the producer when I am teaching you something. If you are teaching me something, then you play the role of producer. Like in a Swiggy app, I order a biryani now, so I am the consumer. The restaurant guy, the Pizza Hut guy is the producer, and the delivery boy who is bringing the item from Pizza Hut to my home is the API. Right? So you can correlate the API in your daily life also. Okay. So now the definition is pretty much clear. Let's go one step forward. Now we understood what is this API. It's a kind of technology that will help send the data between a producer and a consumer. The question is, how is the what do you call how are they exchanging the data? Now again we'll take a simple example between you and me. I am the producer, you are the consumer, or you are the producer, I am the consumer. How are we exchanging data? By speaking. In which language are we speaking? Right now I'm speaking in English, probably because it's a common language for you and me to comprehend, to exchange data. What if I start speaking in French, Spanish, maybe Telugu, Kannada, Tamil, Malayalam, Hindi, etc.? Few of you might understand, few of you might not understand. So finally, we decided English as the mode of data transfer from producer to Kiran, or consumer to producer, producer to consumer. But in API technology, they are not human beings to speak in English or Telugu or Hindi or Tamil, Malayalam, whatever. So what should we do? So there should be another way for APIs also to talk to each other, right? That answer I'm going to give you now. So just like we have programming languages like Java, PHP, Ruby on Rails, .NET, etc., there are certain communication languages for APIs. We call it as data descriptive languages. What are they? So text format is there, HTML format is there, XML format is there, JSON format is there, and YAML format is there, etc., etc. So many formats are there. These are the different formats in which APIs can exchange the data from one module to another module. Like when you order food on Swiggy, the delivery boy, when he reaches your home, he will definitely make a call saying, "Ma'am, I'm at the ground floor. How should I come? Where should I come?" If it's an apartment building. So he will speak to you in English. He might speak to you in Hindi. He might speak to you in a local language that you speak in your respective states. Just like the delivery boy can speak in three languages, APIs, when they are exchanging data from one module to another module, there are so many descriptive languages. Initially, the industry used normal text format, plain text format, but it is outdated. I mean, today it is outdated, 100% outdated, which means no developer in their projects will use text as the mechanism to transfer the data from one module to another module, because in text format there is no secrecy maintained, there is no privacy for your data. Your passwords will be exposed, your usernames will be exposed, your credit card numbers, your personal details will be exposed. Meaning, if I say my password is tiger, you will see the password as tiger in the software when it is going from client to server. In the database also it will be stored as tiger, so anyone can steal it. So text format does not encrypt your data. There is no privacy and secrecy. So initially industry used it like 24 years before, but later they saw the problems and they deprecated it. Meaning today no longer we use it. When text format became outdated, the next technology the industry used is HTML, hypertext markup language. I'm sure you guys have heard of HTML, right? Yes or no? Have you guys heard of HTML? Obviously yes, right? I mean, it's not that I have to teach you that. So it is used to describe web pages, design web pages. Also HTML is used to transfer the data. So HTML solved the problem what text format could not solve, but it also had similar secret problems. I mean, the secrecy maintenance is a problem. So later it also became outdated. When I say outdated, I'm not saying HTML itself is outdated. To transfer the data from one place to another place, it is outdated. Otherwise, to design a web page, it is still there. When HTML became outdated, the industry came with XML. I'm sure you guys have heard of XML, extensive markup language. This was a solution for HTML problem. And it was good when it was introduced. But today it is 90% outdated and 10% usage, meaning few developers are using it. Like 10% is the percentage of people who are still using XML as a mode of communication. Okay. But since it is 90% outdated, let's put it in orange color. Then you have JSON. Our course talks a lot about JSON. JSON is from JavaScript family and it stands for JavaScript Object Notation. I will talk more about JSON every day, and also today I will talk a little bit. Today the industry is using JSON. It is 100% being used when you are transferring data from one module to another module. So if someone questions you in the interviews or in the projects, logout module and login module are communicating with each other. So how are they communicating? You can take a guess. It is just JSON only. 99% the answer is JSON. Any module, if it is talking to another module, it will be always in JSON. Like if you are going out and giving an interview anywhere in India, whether you are giving an interview in Delhi or Chennai or Hyderabad, Bangalore, Pune, etc., etc., the interview will always be in English. It will never be in Hindi. It will never be in Bengali language, right? It will always be in English. Just like that, English is a default language. JSON is a default data transfer language from one module to another module whenever APIs are involved. Why is it so? Because the world decided that English is the common language for every foreigner. Like developers decided, the IT industry decided JSON is the best today. Like today, when you are learning the course, JSON is best. Maybe after 2 years, some other technology can come. That some other technology could be YAML, YAML later. So right now, I cannot say it is outdated or it is the best. It is like picking up the pace, meaning people started using this YAML also. YAML is also from JSON family only. Maybe after 2 years or 3 years, JSON, if it gets outdated, then YAML will be the future. So these are the different data descriptive languages the industry is using. to communicate the data from one module to another module. Okay, so now the point you have to understand is to transfer the data across multiple modules in an enterprise application using the API technology, we follow below data transfer or data communication ways. What are they? The first one is plain text format, next HTML, later XML, next JSON, and then YAML. And there could be some other formats also. I just told you the top 5, but there could be more to it also. The first two, I'll put it in red color to tell you that they are completely outdated. XML is 90% outdated. Let's put orange color. JSON is the trend today. I'll put it in blue. YAML could be the future. Already few people started using it. I'll put it in blue color. Okay. So these are the ways how the data will be transferred from one module to another module when APIs are involved. Meaning, again, if you look at this diagram, here I will write only JSON. I will not write anything else because JSON is the king here when it comes to data transfer from one module to another module. So it is a JSON request, it is a JSON response. So when someone says what is the JSON response, don't think that you don't know. It is a response coming from server in the form of JSON language. If someone says JSON request, it is a request going from one module to another module or going from client to server in the form of JSON. Now let's see how JSON looks like. Okay, or how the other terminologies look like. But before I talk about that, let me take a pause here. Do you guys have any questions until this point? Okay, Devaki says my voice is echoing. Is it still Devaki or the problem is solved? Okay, any questions from anyone? You can say yes or no, guys.
Still it's
No
echoing,
silence.
Kiran. Still it's echoing, Kiran.
Okay, is it echoing for others also?
No, for me, I'm okay.
Okay. Okay, so I think Devaki may be a problem from your side. On the chat, I see everyone saying no. Just cross check if you have logged in from 2 devices. If yes, you have to log out from one device, or else just to disconnect and rejoin again. It should solve the problem because only you are getting the echo. So it could be an issue from your side. Please check it out. Okay. So right now, if you look at my chapter 1, we just completed the first 2 bullet points. What are APIs and introduction to data description formats. Okay. Now, I'll talk about the second point furthermore. How does HTML or text, XML, YAML, JSON look like? Let's spend some 5 to 10 minutes to understand it. A normal plain text format looks like this. Like, let's say I wanted to send a message and the message is my voice is still echoing, right? Maybe this is a message I wanted to send on the chat. So let me type that here. Is my voice still echoing? Harsha, I will answer your question. Please be with me for another few minutes. So I sent a message on the chat. Is my voice still echoing? It's a normal English text from me to you. But when it is going from the software to your software, how does it go if we take about different formats? If the developer is using plain text format, which is outdated, the text will go as it is. And it can go in any format, like it can still break the text like this also the text can go. So the plain text format does not follow any rules. There is no syntax in plain text format. There is no protocol involved. You can send a message in any format, meaning you break the sentence, break the grammar, break the punctuation, break the sentencing, etc. The message will go to the server. And in this process, your data can be tampered by a hacker because he can see the password. If there is a password here, he can see the password directly. Now, if you want to see how HTML format looks like, example only I'm giving, okay, and I'm not giving a perfect 100% example, just for reference purpose I'm giving. HTML will have the tags like this. Every tag that you open should be closed. So this is the starting tag, and if you put a forward slash, it is the ending tag. And after that, you can write some body tags. Again, you have to close the body tag, and then you can have a paragraph tag. Again, you have to close the tag, and here the message will be there, like, is my voice still echoing? So this is a message that goes from my computer to your computer if the developer is using HTML in the development process, and the code looks something like this. You will see the tags like this. So these are the rules in HTML. Those rules do not apply here. Okay, so this is one example of HTML format. Let's say now we wanted to talk about the other format, XML format. I'll just copy this, put it here. So XML format will use the XML tags. Instead of HTML, it will have XML starting tags and end tags. And in the place of paragraph, you might see envelope, or you might see message, anything, and still it looks the same thing. Okay. So XML format starts with an XML tag. Finally, if I talk about JSON format, XML format is also outdated, guys. I'll put it in orange color. JSON format is the current trend the developers are using. Now, JSON has a syntax. So the syntax is, it starts with a curly brace, ends with a curly brace, and it follows key value pair structure. Key value pair means for every key there is a value. It is like a marriage between key and value. Think of key and value as a boyfriend and a girlfriend, or as a husband and a wife, or as a mother and father, like that. So key will be here and the value will be here. This is the syntax. And if you have more keys, like more members in the family, you will have one more key and value. Maybe it's a joint family, you will have one more key and value. Like that you will do, and you will separate the next line with a comma. If there are no more lines, you will don't put a comma. If you want an example now, again I have to write flower bracket, and here the trainer name is Kiran. So trainer is the key, value is Kiran, and participants. And I'm talking to one specific person today, which is who is that, Devaki. So I will take Devaki name here. And what is a message I sent to her? So maybe I'll call that as message. Is my voice still echoing? So that is the question I sent. But that question will go to Devaki from my computer like this, if the developer of GoToMeeting is using JSON as the data transfer way. So this is how the JSON body looks like. On the left hand side, you see key, participants, trainer, message, they are the keys. On the right side, Kiran or Devaki, is my voice still echoing, they are the values. The name can be anything. You don't have to specifically write a trainer. You write a producer if you want, you write ABC if you want, participants also, any name you can write, but developer will decide what is the key and what is the value. When you see a structure like this, you have to say it looks like a JSON. And when you see a structure that has XML tag, it is an XML code. When you see the structure having HTML, it is a HTML code. Plain text, no one will use it, you can ignore it. So these are the examples how the data looks like when the APIs are involved and they are transferring data from one module to another module. The question from Aishwarya, what is the difference between HTML and XML? There are hundreds of differences, Aishwarya. One example, one difference I'll tell you. HTML is used to design a web page. Example, you see this page. It is designed using HTML language. I cannot design this using XML. That is one difference. Second one, HTML can be used to transfer the data. XML is also used to transfer the data. But XML is better option than HTML because XML is the next technology that came after HTML. So XML probably will provide you more security than HTML. If your question is how does that provide more security, it is beyond the course concept and you need to talk to a developer to get an answer to that. Okay, and even that's the answer, Harsha, for your question. Maybe if you Google it, you will get an answer. I'm not the right guy to comment on how security is built in HTML or XML. I can tell in one line, XML is secured as compared to HTML. As a tester, we don't have to know to that level how security is built in, because we are not developing any XML in the application. We are using the XML given by developer and we are sending it. Okay, because says XML is lighter in weight as compared to HTML. Yeah, correct, because thank you. That's a third difference, by the way, for your point, Aishwarya. And thank you, because for answering to that as well. So, to know where are we heading, we are still in chapter 1. Of course, we will be in chapter 1 for 2 days. And we just completed 2 topics. What are APIs and introduction to data description formats. And one more thing is, where are APIs used? The answer is they are used everywhere. Example, if you want me to write, the answer will be never ending. Let's say if I open my smartphone or you open your smartphone, I'm sure every one of you will have an app. Let's say Ola, Uber, Rapido, they all use APIs. You will have something like Book My Show app or Make My Trip app, something similar to that. They all use APIs. Definitely you will have some social media applications like LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, Instagram, etc., etc. They all use APIs. You will have Swiggy, Zomato, similar apps. They also use APIs. 95% of the mobile apps on your smartphone, they use APIs. In the internet, 95% of the applications you access, they all use APIs. Gmail does it, Yahoo does it, every application uses APIs. Like example, Ola, Uber, Rapido, they use the location coordinates. The meaning they use the Android operating system or iOS operating system location SDK to send your location to the driver and driver location to you. So they use APIs there. Book My Show, Make My Trip, they use your location coordinates. They use the APIs related to the theater databases. That's how they're able to show you which theater has what movie and how many seats are booked, how many seats are still available. And again, if you are traveling by bus, you have Red Bus, you have Abhi Bus, etc. How does these apps know which tickets are free, which seats are free, which are booked, which is booked by a female, which is booked by a senior person, which is booked by a male? They use APIs to know with the to connect it to the Abibus or the actual bus database and tell you on these applications. So you cannot imagine a world today without APIs. Today we are all lazy because of Swiggy and Zomato, because you order from the comfort of your home and get your pizza delivered, biryani delivered, breakfast delivered. Because we are lazy, Swiggy, Zomato is making money. How are they making money? They are using API technology to talk to the restaurant, find out what is the rate card, how much time it will take to prepare it, is it still available or out of order. And then you see the so-called 10-minute delivery apps, right? 10-minute delivery apps like Zepto, Blinkit, etc. They also use APIs from the store to deliver the apps to you. Which means all I'm saying is APIs are everywhere. Whether you are a youngster or a senior guy or a college going student or a school going student, you are interacting with computers, smartphones to get your business done, to get your job done. Without your knowledge, all those applications are using APIs. Without APIs, I'll tell you what will happen. To book to book an auto, you cannot sit at your home. You have to walk to the main road, wave your hand, stop the auto guy, or stop the bus guy, or stop the cab guy if your city has local cabs. Tell them this is where I want to go, negotiate the money, and then get in. That is what will happen if you don't have APIs. Because if there are no APIs, Ola, Uber, Rapido does not exist. And if you want to watch a movie, all of you are booking the ticket on Book My Show and then going with your family. If APIs does not exist, Book My Show does not exist, meaning you have to go to the theater, stand in the line, give the cash, and then worry about the change process, whether he has the change or not, and then get your ticket done. That will happen if you don't have APIs. And to book your train tickets or bus tickets or flight tickets, earlier you used to go to the railway station, stand in the line, fill up a data entry form given by the railway inquiry counter guy or the bus guy, fill it up, produce your ID card, then get the ticket booked. Now you are doing all that hangama? No, sitting at home, type redbus.in, book your from to seat, done. Social media apps, you know how they're killing your time. Swiggy, Zomato, you know, if I don't want to prepare food now, I will say I don't depend on my wife, or my wife says I will not depend on husband, they will book on Swiggy and Zomato. Nowadays, who is going to the kirana shops? You are using this idiotic Zepto, Blinkit, 10-minute delivery apps. They are killing the human interactions, and you are getting the items delivered at your home. So in a way, technology is helping you to get items at a blinking fast speed, but the disadvantage is you are not interacting with other human beings, you are being lazy, no fitness is happening. But API technology is helping the Zepto and Blinkit to make money. API is also helping you to sit and do the work at the comfort of your home. Similarly, the other things, right? If I talk about this, earlier trainings used to happen in an institute, right? But now we are doing it online. Again, I will say Kiran is lazy because he is not going to institute. You are also lazy because you are not coming to institute. But the catch is, all of you need not be from Hyderabad, all of you need not be from Bangalore. I am teaching you somewhere from Hyderabad, few of you are from Chennai, few are from Hyderabad, few of you are from Bangalore, few of you are from Mumbai, Delhi, Pune, Bengal, etc. I never know. But online is helping all of us to catch together at an online virtual meeting and share the knowledge. That's how the schools, colleges are also running their classes on Zoom for students during the COVID situation. How is that happening? APIs. Google Maps are also helping you. APIs. All I'm trying to say is, you cannot imagine the technology today without APIs. We say smartphone is the reason, internet is the reason. Of course, correct. But without APIs, smartphone is a dumb thing. It is of no use. Without APIs, your smartphone is as good as your regular black and white Nokia feature phone. Okay, that's all about the importance of APIs. And hence, the industry is inviting API developers, API test engineers, API DevOps folks, etc. So the industry is seeing a lot of demand for these departments. You need a developer to develop API. You need a tester to test the API. You need a DevOps engineer to deploy the API. So that is the demand that we are seeing in the market. Not today. We are seeing this trend from the last, I would say, if I remember correctly, at least from the year 2015 or 2014, the importance of APIs has tremendously increased. Like how Google Pay and Phone Pay are relevant today, APIs are relevant starting from the year 2014. But APIs existed from the year 2000 onwards, meaning the age of API today is 24 years. But people started realizing the importance of APIs only from the last 10 years or 9 years. And this trend is continuing at least for the next 10 years or 15 years or maybe 5 years. Okay. And that is the reason why every person, whether you are a developer or a tester, they are all planning to learn API development or API testing or API deployment in their respective jobs and excelling in their career. Okay. So we discussed about the importance of APIs, what is an API, the definition of an API from a diagrammatical perspective, then the data description formats such as HTML, text, JSON, XML. The next points which we are going to pick up in the next class will be introduction to client and server architecture. A very important concept. I will take one entire class to teach client and server architecture. Okay, so that we will reserve it for the upcoming classes. Today is Friday. The training is only from Monday to Friday. So the next class will be on Monday, and the regular classes starting from today. But unfortunately, it is a Friday, so tomorrow and day after we'll get a day off. Weekends we do not have classes. So Monday the class continues, and there is no break from today onwards. I mean, from Monday onwards, I would say no break. It's going to be continuous classes. The link will be the same if I don't give you the new link. If I give a new link, the old link dies, and the new link is what you have to use. Okay. Any questions from the participants before we sign off for today?
Yeah, is it possible like Saturdays if everyone is okay?
99% it will not be okay, Afros, because
Okay.
at least 30% of the people will say no, so we cannot
Mhm.
have it on Saturdays, because
Yeah, okay.
we, and end of the day, democracy wins, right?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, yeah. So I think a couple of people have asked me for recorded session of demo class. We kept it on the group chat, WhatsApp. Today's class also, the class is getting recorded. I will put this on the WhatsApp chat also. If you want, you can go through it one more time. And as usual, I keep saying this, if you are interested to continue further and join Monday's class onwards, please enroll, speak to the Isha team, complete the formalities. If the link changes, it's only for paid participants. If I wanted to give one more class to continue to enable few people to listen one more time to take a decision, the link might still be the same. Okay, but you have time, 2 days time, think about it, take a wise decision and enroll if you are interested really in this course. If you enjoyed my class today, that's how it is going to be in the upcoming classes as well. A lot of information is what I'm going to share, and my trainings are unique. I don't show any PowerPoint presentations. Today also I have not shown. Never ever I will show PowerPoints. It is all I'm going to write, I'm going to draw, so that you feel as if it is a classroom training. And I will also expect you guys to involve in the training, start speaking, start asking questions, start giving supportive answers to some other members in the training. It should be a two-way training, no silence. Okay, that's all I have for today, guys. Thank you very much for your participation. I hope you enjoyed the day one class. The previous class was day zero. I'll see you guys again on Monday. For any questions, please use the WhatsApp chat. And again, if you are interested, you will get the notes, put it on my WhatsApp, your email address and your WhatsApp numbers. My team will get back to you on that. Thank you, everyone. Have a good weekend. See you on Monday. Bye bye.